Found out wife cheated on me, has been cheating on me, same AP. I tracked down messages to the day it happened. I knew something was wrong the whole time, but I could never imagine this was the thing that was going on. So, I'm 24 years old, and my soon-to-be ex-wife is 25. We've been dating for 7 years, married for 3 years, with a 16-month-old kid. I'm the only one who works, and I earn roughly $100,000 per year, plus additional money from trading crypto/stocks/NFTs. My hard work has resulted in a totally paid-off apartment. She has been lavished with material goods, both large and little. I purchase flowers and little, unexpected presents on a daily basis. For example, I've been bathing our infant since she was born. Each and every time. Not just to assist, but also because I enjoyed it. Every other night, she would put the baby to sleep so that we could sit and relax, make coffee, watch a movie, snuggle, or whatever. Not because I wanted a dead bedroom. I was always prepared to travel, and I always made sure that she came first when it came to her requirements. She has always assisted her mother and father, who live in another country, with money and other matters. I have to confess that they have loved me like their kid from day one. They still do. They have no idea about this, and many more things. I had a feeling something was awry since she was behaving strangely when I discovered it. She confessed everything, fell into tears, and begged me not to abandon her. I think it's too late for that now. She had previously cheated, both physically and emotionally, according to the messages. Every single day, a few times a day, she genuinely cries and begs me not to leave her. What are you sobbing over? If I was so horrible that you needed to cheat on me, it's so strange. I know she's not in communication with AP since she informed me when he texted her while I was at work. She even took a snapshot and asked me what she should do. I advised her to do whatever she wanted since she put herself in that situation, not me. She texted him, claiming that everything she did was a horrible mistake, that it should never have occurred, that she genuinely loves me, that she can't fathom losing me, and so on, and she requested him not to contact her again. She even blocked him, and so on. I'd want to remain together since not being able to see the child every single day would practically kill me. But you know what I reasoned? I'd rather endure not being able to be with her all of the time than have her grow up in a home where things don't operate as they should. One item is really perplexing me. Wife is uninterested in anything. He isn't interested in the automobile. He isn't interested in the condo. He isn't interested in the money. He doesn't desire anything. She vows that if I decide to divorce her and I can't forgive her, all she wants is a little assistance with the child and for me to step in and help if she can't afford everything for her. I'll make sure my baby is taken care of as long as I'm living. I have a question for the women and men of this community. Do you believe this is a case of too much Mr. Nice Guy? Or what is your point of view? I'm extremely interested. Also, how would you behave if you were in my situation? Also, I apologize if my English isn't perfect, it's my second language. Thank you so much. Edit. Thank you to everyone who took the time out of their day to read this and leave a remark. I really appreciate it. I received precisely what I wanted. More people telling me what they think or what they would do. I'm simply trying to do what's best for my kid and myself, which is why I want to plan everything out in detail. There is no space for error. Thank you once again. Story 2. Still hurts after 2 years. For 4.5 years, I, 30 male, was in a relationship with 35 female. On a regular basis, I am happy and loving, yet I am also disturbed. She had a drinking issue, she drank often and in large quantities. In one night, all sorts of drink were mingled together. She was an extremely furious, aggressive, and physical alcoholic who would sometimes be violent towards me. Nothing wrong with that, but it's clearly a huge line crossed. She'd get booted out of weddings, including one when I was a groomsman, create conflicts in public, and even provoke fights that resulted in her being assaulted. Random males sometimes came at the door, probably encouraged there, and I lost count of the amount of taxi drivers I had to bargain with to return phones or calm them when they weren't paid. It was awful, and I was foolish enough to believe I could assist or that she would miraculously awaken one day and figure herself out. I was much more patient than I should have been. I was always the one who cleaned up the mess. It was my first relationship, and I was dating with the intention of marrying. I was also terrified to leave since I didn't want to be alone. It did, however, inevitably create major problems in the partnership. The repercussions and hangover sadness she was perpetually in was a whirlwind of feelings. I, vehemently, recommended counseling or better control each time, and each time I had a sharp, defensive reaction, and you can image the rest. Furthermore, For 18 months, at the end, she was surreptitiously cheating with a married guy she met drunk in a pub, who also happened to be a work colleague. This was discovered by her later. They'd meet in secret, either at our house or his. They would drink and have together, which supposedly occurred at least 10 times. It came out when the other person messaged me to explain what had happened, as he was obviously an alcoholic seeking counseling to mend his divorced marriage. I didn't answer, but I did confront my ex about it. At the time, I was foolish enough to trust my ex's narrative since it seemed reasonable enough. I was skeptical, really, but I was also loving the feel of all the sand around my head. Cheating occurs to other people, not to me, I reasoned. After a few months, we decided to call it quits in September 2020, one dispute too many. I'm lying in bed one night when a light bulb flashes off in my head regarding this weird message I received from this man a few weeks ago, so I react by asking whether it was real. He claims it is, so I put my ex on the spot. She claims it isn't, but I tell her that's not what he said. Then she comes clean and confesses it. Instantaneous horror, she gets a spontaneous twinge of empathy for someone else and asks me to chat about it later that evening at her house. I knew it was a bad idea, but I was so traumatized, to be honest, that knowledge looked like the greatest solace. When I arrive, instead of contrition, I get verbal abuse and threats of violence after expressing my evident distress. In my distraught condition, I lost myself, took a spare set of keys, and unintentionally entered and damaged her property, resulting in a police caution. Which I'm not proud of, but hasn't become a source of joy either. All the rest of the nonsense, there were more hopeful talks about empathizing with me during Christmas 2020 during a naive effort to form a friendship, but we drifted apart. Last spring, I went to therapy, learned a lot about myself, and came out a much wiser and healthier person. I last heard from her in June 2021, after she had a bad automobile accident, and I believe she was looking for some cheap emotional validation. Which I didn't supply, and was curious as she was dating her now boyfriend at the time. Seuss. I don't believe the narcissist within her was expecting this, so I got a beautiful diatribe about how nobody cared what I thought because I was a broken record. I'd had too much therapy at that time to take it too seriously, but it irritated me. It irritated me that it irritated me. Make no mistake about it, she is a trainwreck narcissist. I miss her company, but I don't want her back. She clearly hasn't matured, and I only feel sorry for her current partner, who will be enjoying a similarly beautiful life without knowing what she's up to in secret, while also being love-bombed and future fabricated as I was. I, on the other hand, am more at peace than I have ever been in my life. It might be lonely at times, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. It irritates me, though, that she continues to absolve herself of any responsibility. I tell myself it's the overwhelming shame she feels, and I'm probably correct. If she ran into me in public, I'm sure she'd flee like the coward she is. A growing part of me wants this to happen. And I shouldn't. I shouldn't be bothered. I feel the sorrow she created and want to demonstrate that I am not damaged by it, that I am strong in spite of her and how she has wrecked my essential ideas about relationships. Despite how much I like the serenity, I think it's an indication of how destructive this was that I'm sitting here writing this. Or do I just need to get over it since it's been so long? Thank you for taking the time to read. Comments are appreciated.